My name is Ethan. I live in a small apartment in a big city. My life is quiet, and I like it. I am a quiet person. I am not very loud. I am not very outgoing. I like simple things. I like books. I like movies. But my favorite thing in the world is music. Music is very important to me. It is like a good friend. When I am happy, I listen to happy music. When I am sad, I listen to sad music. It always understands. My job is connected to music. I work in a music shop. It is a small shop, but it is very nice. We sell guitars, pianos, and many other instruments. We also sell old records. I love old records. I work there every day from Monday to Friday. I like my job very much. I meet people who love music. We talk about music. It is a good job for a quiet person like me. On the weekends, I do not work. I like to relax. My favorite thing to do on a Saturday is to go to the park. There is a big, beautiful park near my apartment. It has many tall trees and green grass. In the autumn, the park is my favorite place. The leaves on the trees are yellow, red, and orange. It is very beautiful. The air is cool and fresh. I like to walk in the park. Sometimes I read a book on a bench. But most of the time, I just listen to music. I have big headphones. I put them on, and the world goes away. It is just me and my music. Today was Saturday. It was a perfect autumn day. The sun was in the sky, but it was not hot. It was cool. A little wind was in the air. A nice, gentle wind. I felt very happy and relaxed. I decided to go to the park. I put on my favorite coat. And I put on my favorite scarf. My scarf is very special to me. My grandmother made it for me. It is very long and very colorful. It has red, blue, green, and yellow stripes. It is very warm and soft. I love this scarf. It feels like a hug. I walked to the park. Many people were there. Families were playing. Dogs were running. It was a happy place. I found my favorite bench. It was under a big tree with yellow leaves. I sat down. I put on my headphones and played my favorite slow music. It was very peaceful. I closed my eyes. The music was in my ears. The cool wind was on my face. The sun was warm on my skin. Everything was perfect. I was in my own small, happy world. I was not thinking about anything. I was just feeling the music and the day. I was very, very relaxed. I was sitting like this for a long time. Maybe 20 minutes. The music was beautiful. The song was slow and quiet. But then, the wind changed. It was not a gentle wind anymore. It became strong. Very strong. First, I just felt it on my face. It was colder now. The yellow leaves from the tree started to fly everywhere. It was like a beautiful golden rain. I smiled with my eyes closed. But then the wind became even stronger. It was a big gust of wind. A very powerful gust, and then I felt something move. My scarf. My beautiful, long scarf was not around my neck anymore. The strong wind lifted it up and pulled it away. It happened very fast. One moment, the scarf was warm on my neck. The next moment, it was gone. I opened my eyes quickly. I was surprised. Where was my scarf? I looked around. And then I saw it. It was flying in the air, like a colorful snake. It was flying straight towards a woman who was walking on the path. I wanted to shout, to say watch out. But it was too late. Before I could say anything, my long, colorful scarf flew right into her face. It wrapped around her head for a second. She was very surprised, of course. She could not see. She made a small, surprised sound and stopped walking. She stumbled a little, trying to get the scarf away from her eyes. As she stumbled, something in her hands fell to the ground. It was a small pot with a green plant inside. The pot hit the grass with a soft sound. I felt terrible. My face became hot. It was my fault. My stupid scarf. I jumped up from the bench immediately. I took off my headphones. The music stopped. The real world came back, and in the real world, my scarf just attacked a stranger. I ran over to her. She had just pulled the scarf from her face. She was looking at it. She looked confused. Then she looked at me. I saw she had kind eyes. Her hair was brown. She was wearing a green coat. A very nice green, like the leaves in summer. I felt so bad. I was very, very sorry. I walked to her and I started to talk very fast. I told her I was very, very sorry. I explained that it was my scarf. I told her the wind was very strong. I asked her if she was okay. I was probably talking too much. I was nervous. I felt my cheeks were red. She looked at me for a moment. I was worried she was angry. But she was not angry. A small smile appeared on her face. It was a kind smile. That made me feel a little better. She told me that she was okay. She said it was not a problem at all. She said she was just very surprised. She understood that the wind was strong. Her voice was soft and calm. This made me feel much better. She told me her name was Olivia. I thought it was a beautiful name. I told her my name was Ethan. I pointed to the scarf in her hands and said again that I was very sorry. She laughed a little. It was a nice laugh. She gave the scarf back to me. Then I looked down at the ground. I remembered the thing that she dropped. It was her plant. The small pot was on its side on the grass. Some of the dark soil was spilled on the ground. The little green plant looked sad. I felt bad again. First my scarf attacked her, and then she dropped her plant. I pointed to the pot. I told her I was very sorry about her plant. I asked if the plant was okay. It seemed like a silly question, but I wanted to show that I was sorry. Olivia looked down too. She knelt on the grass and gently picked up the pot. She was very careful with it. She used her hands to put the spilled soil back into the pot. She checked the green leaves. She was very gentle. I just stood there, watching her. I felt a little awkward. After a moment, she looked up at me. She smiled again. She told me the plant was okay. She said it was a strong little plant. She said the pot was not broken. I was very happy to hear that. I told her I was happy the plant was okay. The plant was very green and looked very healthy. It had small, shiny leaves. I thought maybe she liked plants very much. The way she held the pot was very caring. I thought that maybe this was connected to her job. I was curious. So, I asked her if she worked with plants. She seemed a little surprised by my question, but she answered with a smile. She told me she worked at a plant nursery. I learned that a plant nursery is a big shop that sells plants, flowers, and trees. I thought that was a very interesting and happy job. Working with green things every day. I told her it sounded like a wonderful job. We stood there for a moment in the windy park, next to the tree with the yellow leaves. She was holding her small plant, and I was holding my long, colorful scarf. It was a strange way to meet someone. She was very nice and not angry at all. It was a big relief. She looked at me, and then she looked at my big headphones in my hand. Then, she asked me about my job. I was holding my big headphones, so I thought it was a good question. I told her that I work in a music shop. I explained that it is a small, quiet shop, and I help people find music they love. I told her I sell old records and new guitars. I also told her that I love my job because music is my biggest passion. I feel very lucky to work with music every day. She listened very carefully. She had a very kind and interested face. It made me feel comfortable. It made me feel not so shy. I am usually very shy when I meet new people. But this felt different. This felt easy. After I told her about my job, I had a thought. I looked at her small plant, and I looked at my headphones. I told her that I think plants and music are a little similar. She looked curious, so I explained. I said that both plants and music are quiet. They do not talk. But both of them can make a person feel happy and calm. They are both very peaceful things. It was just a small thought from my head. I did not know if it was a good thing to say. But Olivia smiled a big smile. It was a very warm smile. She told me that she completely agreed. She said it was a beautiful thought. Then, she told me something very interesting. She said that she sometimes plays music for her plants at her home. She told me she thinks the music helps them grow. I was so surprised and happy to hear this. I told her I thought that was a wonderful idea. We stood there and talked for a little longer. It was a very nice conversation. The wind was still blowing, but it was not so strong now. The yellow leaves were still falling gently from the trees. We learned more about each other. I learned that Olivia lives near the park. I learned she has a small balcony with many, many plants. She told me her apartment is like a small jungle. I thought that sounded very lovely. I told her about my quiet apartment with my big collection of records. I told her I like to spend my evenings reading a book and listening to music. She told me she likes to do that too, but with her plants instead of records. I thought about how we were different. She seemed so energetic and practical. I am quiet and a dreamer. But it did not feel strange. It felt nice to talk to someone different. The sun was starting to go down a little. The light in the park was becoming soft and golden. I knew Olivia probably needed to go. And I needed to continue my walk. But I did not want our conversation to end. I wanted to see her again. This was a very new feeling for me. Usually, I am happy to be alone. But talking with Olivia felt so easy and happy. So, I had another idea. I felt a little brave. I told her that since she plays music for her plants, maybe she needs some new music sometimes. I told her about my music shop. I said it is not far from the park. I told her she should visit the shop one day if she wants. I said I could help her find some perfect, calm music for her and her green friends. When I said this, her smile became even bigger. She told me that she would love that very much. She said it was a very kind offer. She said she would definitely come to my shop one day soon. Hearing her say that made me feel very warm and happy inside. It was a good feeling. She looked at her small plant in her hands and said she needed to take it home now. I understood. I said it was very nice to meet her, even if it started with my scarf attacking her. She laughed and told me it was the funniest way she ever met someone. She said it was very nice to meet me too. Then, she said goodbye and started to walk away on the path. I watched her go. She walked carefully, holding her small, strong plant. Her green coat looked very nice with all the yellow leaves on the ground. I stood there for a moment. The park was quiet again. I was alone again. But I did not feel alone. I felt very happy. I looked down at the colorful scarf in my hand. My favorite scarf. It was just a scarf. But today, it was something more. It was a connection. An accident that turned into a nice conversation. A windy day that brought a new, interesting person into my quiet world. I put the scarf back around my neck. It felt warmer than before. I put on my headphones, but I did not play any music. I just walked home through the beautiful park, thinking about plants, music, and a kind smile. It was a very, very good day.